I feel a lady here that comes. She stands close to me. Now, as she stands here, I get the sense of my lady to be only in her 30s when she passes to the spirit world, and I actually feel quite young 30s there as she passes. I feel that she has children alive in our world, and there's something in my mind that suggests there may be 2 children that belong to her that are alive and well, still here as she dwells there in the other world. I know that my same lady is poorly before she passes into the spirit, and I feel that I'm in hospice or in hospital as I go to spirit. I know also my same lady would have been a hairdresser, or she had salon or hairdressing colleagues, people, associations there that she would remember as she speaks with me. Hello. How are you? You okay? Do you understand this information?
Yeah.
To be in my 30s when I pass?
Yes.
And
yes.
2 children belonging to her?
Yes.
And hairdressing?
She had a hairdressing business where she went to the people's houses.
Oh, I see. Can I work with you? Is that okay?
Yeah.
Very simply, the lady that stands with me is a very lovely character, a very nice woman. You see this? I know I keep myself to myself, and I know I worry about my family, worry about my own people. I'm not one to tittle-tattle. I'm not one to talk about other people's business and get involved. Do you see where I'm going with that?
Yeah.
Do you see how she would have also linked to a community centre or a church community centre, something of this nature?
Yes, she used to be an officer in the Girls' Brigade.
Okay, and would that be held in either a church community centre or a community centre?
In a church hall.
That's lovely, thank you.
Yeah.
Because I know she takes my mind there, you see this. And I feel dead excited, like this is where I feel happy, you see this is what I do. And I know that I was talking about what a lovely character she was, and all of these things kind of lead me to a space here where I just feel as though I lived a good life. Therefore, it was hardest when I went to the spirit world for other people to kind of equate or wonder why I should pass. You see this?
Yeah.
There's an old saying about God takes the good young, or something like this. You know,
That's
the good
right,
young.
yes.
And I feel that was said 1,000 times after she passes. Would you know where the name of Linda would also link with her there?
Yes, she had a friend, Linda, her chief bridesmaid.
That's it. Because she talks of Linda as being significant there to her. She allows me now to just settle down a little bit. And to be fair, I rarely feel emotional as such, but when she links with me, I feel really I could easily cry. And it feels like as you respond to her, she's feeling emotional, but happy emotion. Do you see this?
Yeah.
And it feels like she's waited some time to come back to you, to come back to tell other people that I'm alive. You see this?
Yes.
And I'm here. I'm not sure, there's something glistens on your top there. It could be a brooch or something just here.
Yes.
But that draws the spirit world's attention. You see this in some
She
way.
made it for me when she was in the teens.
That's smashing. So if you made that for me, that's perfect. I just know whatever that is, it draws my attention. You see that? So the fact that it's hers and now yours, I like it. And I feel even more now that she's willing me to say, I'm so pleased to be here. Tell her I'm always with her, and tell her I'm always around her. She knows that you've been suffering with your knees or your legs just recently. Do you see
Yes,
that?
my hip and leg.
And I feel that this condition slows you up, you see that, or it takes you longer to get there. But I just get the sensation there, and I just know she's saying something quite sweet, like, look after yourself, won't you? Be careful with this.
That would be her.
Darling, would you know there, let me think if that's correct, that you are with her when she passes to the spirit world?
Yes.
Did you see that?
Yes, I was.
And it was a vaguer feeling, but I did feel that there. And I see you sitting with her as she passes into the spirit. And just before she passes, you're up and you're out of the room, and then you're back again. Do you see that?
Yes.
And it's not like I could feel you either to a left or to a right there. It was more like you were up and around, calling out to people, getting assistance, this kind of thing, and then coming back to her. And I tell you, as I see that, you moved, you got up, you called out, and then you came back to her right-hand side for the last moments of her life. Do you see that at all for me?
Her husband had just left the room as she was passing.
Okay.
And the nurse said that she was going, and I called her husband to come in.
Okay. But were you actually on her right-hand side
Yes.
when she passes? You
Yes,
know that?
I was, yeah.
But bear with me, there with you. I know that there's something about you up and around, but I know at the end of her life there you stand on her right-hand side, on this
That's
side.
right.
Because I know she tells
Yeah.
this to me. And do you know, as she allows me to feel that, the end of her life came very peacefully at the end, or it was easy for her to pass from this world and into the next.
Easier, yes.
And as she tells this to me, I wonder whether there's something rather more significant in the midpoint of August.
Yeah,
you
the
see.
12th of August, her son's birthday.
Okay. But I know I need to go to the midpoint of August here that I know is important to me. Come on, lady. Do you know she'd lost so much weight before she'd passed to the spirit? Do you see that for me?
Yes, definitely.
And it's like I could pick her up almost like a child. Do you see
Yes,
that? I'm
you
so
could.
light
Yes.
before I go. I know that she'd had ongoing problems here. So I know it's to my bladder, my lower bowel, there's something here. Do you see this, darling?
Yes.
That had been a big problem for her during her illness.
Yeah.
I sense, as she tells this to me, that there was also like a misdiagnosis in her condition to begin with. So when I'm unwell, they didn't spot it. When I'm unwell, they didn't know it. When I'm unwell, there was time wasted and this kind of thing. Is it okay? And it feels to me a good 6 and 8 months down the line before it's registered or we realise the depth of what's happening here.
Yes.
And I know here that I don't go so very long after. Let me think about this. Come on then. That's fine. You are her mother. Do you see that?
That's right.
That's it. Because she calls out mum, mum. And I know I allow her to call this for me. She brings me a tiny bouquet of flowers, but tiny, little tiny. So it's like a tiny posy of flowers, or it's a corsage, something I could... You know, something that's bound together, like a wedding corsage or wedding flowers for a jacket or something like this.
I did the flowers for her wedding.
Okay, that's fine, that's fine. And would you have made the corsages
Yes.
and wedding flowers? That's perfect.
Yes.
Because she's making me give this idea of tiny flowers as bound. Would you know these flowers are pink and white?
Yes.
Pink and white, you know that. Because
Yes.
they're pink and white flowers that she shows me. Obviously, the both of you are together. I'm extending her love to the both of you. I'm not alienate you at all. I just know she's just directing all this information to the both of you. I need to be quick, but I would leave you there, if I may, with the love of your beautiful daughter that's moved now into the other world for you and her dad, and to know that she's often around you. I'm often there, you know. I'm often
Yes, I do
there,
know.
you know. I feel she was cremated when she passed.
Yes,
Do you
she
see
was.
that? And I know that I'm very happy with that. She wanted that to happen. Didn't
Yes,
like
she
the
did.
thought of being buried, you see.
No.
And both her children are alive still. Do you see? They're
Yes.
here in the world and healthy.
Yeah.
And the next time you see them, please, the two of you, give them a hug for me. Hug them for me, won't you? And with that,
I will.
I'll say bless you. And thank you so much for listening to me. God bless you.
Thank you very much.
I'd hoped that she would come through, but had a feeling that she might not, because she might thought I wasn't ready, because she would think of me rather than herself. But Tony did say that she'd mentioned that she had waited a long time. So I'm afraid I kept her waiting.
Very simply, the lady that stands with me is a very lovely character, a very nice woman. You see this?
Jenny was a very, very bubbly person, very happy. She always lit up the room when she came in. If we were perhaps on a downtrodden mood for some reason, she'd come in and she'd just say, "Hi," and the whole room would lift completely. And she was always like this, and it sort of spread happiness all around her wherever she went. When she sadly died, the church was packed in standing room only, and we were shocked to see so many. But having said that, we shouldn't have been shocked, because we knew that she had so many friends.
I'm not sure, something glistens on your top there. It could be a brooch or something just here, but that draws the spirit world's attention.
I wasn't surprised that Tony mentioned the brooch, because Jenny made it for me. When she was a teenager, She always got her hands into something, always doing something, had to be busy. And this particular time she wanted to do some jewellery making. And she sent for this jewellery and the brooch, and she did this one for me.
Do you see how she would have also linked to a community centre or a church community centre, something of this nature?
Yes, she used to be an officer in the Girls' Brigade.
The main leader of the Girls' Brigade, when she couldn't organise the girls properly, she used to say, "Jenny, can you help us out?" Because she was an officer with a silver, and she used to get there and she used to get a little bit cross. "Don't do this and don't do that," and they all sat there spellbound, didn't they? But they all loved her, actually.
They did.
I'm not just saying this, but they did.
At Jenny's wedding, when Jenny and her husband came out of the church, there was all the girls from Girls' Brigade giving her a guard of honour. And it was really lovely.
She brings me a tiny bouquet of flowers, but tiny, little tiny. So it's like a tiny posy of flowers, or it's a corsage, like a wedding corsage or wedding flowers for a jacket or something like this.
I did the flowers for her wedding.
Would you know these flowers are pink and white?
Yes.
The flowers were significant in several ways. Tony mentioned a posy, that Jenny was offering me a posy. But she always did that when she was a little girl, always bringing me flowers. They were weeds, but to Jenny they were flowers.
She knows that you've been suffering with your knees or your legs just recently.
I was really surprised to hear Tony mention my leg.
Yeah.
But it was lovely that Jenny was thinking about it. I don't know why I was surprised, because that's the kind of thing she did.
Well, that's the type of work she had as well. She was a remedial masseuse and
That's
hairdresser.
right, yes,
she used to
that's
work
true.
from home, different places all over London.
Yes.
Different places she used to go to, so she was well into everything, really, wasn't she?
Yes, she was.
Yeah.
There was also like a misdiagnosis in her condition to begin with. So when I'm unwell, they didn't spot it. When I'm unwell, they didn't know it. When I'm unwell, there was time wasted and this kind of thing.
When Jenny was on holiday, she felt unwell and went to the doctors there. She thought that she possibly had a water infection and mentioned this, so they gave her treatment for that. She came home and her own doctor took one look at her and said, "I want to see you a couple of days' time. I don't like the look of this," and she gave her some tablets. And when Jenny went back, she said, "I'm afraid it's hospital for you." At the hospital we had the misdiagnosis again. They thought she had appendicitis, but they couldn't really tell. Finally, after a week of x-rays, they discovered that she had actually got cancer.
Because I know I need to go to the midpoint of August here that I know is important to me.
Yeah, the 12th of August, her son's birthday.
Gus had his birthday when Jenny was in hospital. We took his presents into hospital so she could see him open them. So he was 7 when she died.
Would you know there, let me think if that's correct, that you are with her when she passes to the spirit world?
Yes.
Did you see that?
Jenny died in April 2000 and she was 37.
It feels like she's waited some time to come back to you, to come back to tell other people that I'm alive. You see this?
Yes.
And I'm here.
It makes you feel warm
Yes,
inside,
yeah,
you know?
it does.
Warm.
And I was so happy because I felt that she is in fact still around. And Tony proved that, which I was really, really pleased about. And it just proves that there is life after death.